The basic idea with the natural layering concept was to recognize that natural dentin and enamel has to be used as a reference to develop this new composite system. We didn't want to use existing shading system or ceramic materials as a reference, because in a restoration made with ceramics, color, light and depth has to be created within a thin layer of the restorative material, which is about 1 millimeter, 1 millimeter and a half. Then we had to measure separately the optical properties of dentin and enamel, contrarily to most of studies or papers which evaluated the characteristics of the tooth as a whole. We measured the color or hue and the opacity or contrast ratio of natural dentin and enamel according to the CIE LEB color system. We found that the color of dentin from samples which belong to different groups of the Vita shading system, A, B, C or D, didn't show any major difference. This is the reason why we decided to develop only one serial of dentin masses which all have the same hue but different level of saturation or chroma. The colorimetric measurements made on enamel show that this tissue can tremendously influence the perception of tooth color. For these reasons, we developed 3 types of enamels: neutral, ivory and white, in order to reproduce the different tints of the natural tissue and in different levels of translucency, of course, to reproduce all variations found in nature. Both dentin and enamel are fluorescent. Therefore, the restorative material had to exhibit a fluorescence similar to the natural tissues. Enamel is a highly opalescent tissue. The opalescence is actually the property of this tissue to reflect the blue waves and to transmit the orange-yellow waves of the natural light. Whenever the restorative material is not opalescent enough, there are blue effect materials to simulate this opalescence. The natural layering recognizes the changes which occur over the life of a tooth. In young teeth, dentin has a low chroma and enamel is white with highly marked opalescent effects. In adult teeth, dentin has a higher chroma and enamel is getting more neutral with an increased translucency. And in older teeth, dentin is having a very high chroma and enamel is having high translucency, which gives this enamel a grayish appearance. Regarding the structure, we have to realize that the relation between dentin and enamel is changing in the incisal edge due to wear. Dentin is progressively exposed and the amount of enamel covering the enamel edge will progressively be reduced. We have 2 sets of samples for selecting dentin and enamel. We first start with the dentin samples and we bring them close to the cervical area to select the right dentin chroma. Then, with the enamel samples, just by visual observation, we'll select the right enamel mass. And the interesting thing with this Miris shade guide is that you can insert the dentin shade guide into the enamel shell and then check that this combination will match the neighboring teeth. You also have samples for effect materials, but these samples are not to be combined to the enamel or dentin samples. And something very important to mention, these shade guides are made from the restorative material, contrarily to most of other shade guides which are made with a different material. The basic layering of Miris implies the application of 2 materials, dentin and enamel, in a similar arrangement, position and amount as found in the natural tooth. Only for some specific cases we have effect materials. The effect blue is to simulate the pubescence in young teeth. The gold material is to simulate areas of high chroma usually found in the incisal edge area. And finally, the white and white opaque to simulate white spots.